It only took forever.
Only took 3 months to find this thing.
When we were looking for the car, we knew that we needed a manual transmission V8 in this particular generation to kick off the series. The problem is that it's an enthusiast model, so a lot of the ones that we would find would have already been modified. They've been crashed or wrecked or rebuilt. This one is the one that initially caught my eye visually. It had really good characteristics. I knew it was going to be a good baseline to start with that we could bring back and accentuate some of its characteristics to make it even more lovable. The wheels that came on this are what really sold me right off the bat.
One less thing to buy to make it look halfway decent.
Damage up front.
When we first get any vehicle, the first thing we want to look at is the obvious. What pulls your eye? It may not necessarily even be something that you think of at first. You just get a feeling. Change the lens, do a little repair, put a lip spoil on there, make it a little more sporty. Old face is going to look better for not a whole lot more.
Hey, what's all this stuff back here?
Going to any project, what I'm looking for, wear and tear.
That's the worst. That's the worst outside.
Tires, do we have any weird wear to them? I look at paint.
Yeah, it looks like the clear coat came off and then faded.
That's an easy fix for how good the rest really looks on it. Got a little handle damage, some dings. We might be able to get that taken care of. And then as you start to investigate closer, you'll start to see things, it could be dents, could be scrapes, could be a smell when you get in. This is nasty.
Looks like you're missing some kind of door panel.
Apparently, that's what we found. A lot of these Mustangs have these issues on the door panels.
See, somebody tried to repair it before already. Tried to glue them on. I've seen a lot of repairs on these. They just come off. So they sell plastic inserts that you can put in. Pop it on there. It'll look better than it did factory. Replace the missing trim piece.
Looks like a hole in the seat right here.
Was it just a single driver? Do you have a lot of passengers? How's the back seat look?
Passenger side looks pretty good.
Dash is pretty good. Steering wheel's still in good condition.
It's sad is also a lot of times these stereos, there's no CarPlay, Android, no GPS, no maps. I don't like driving anything without maps these days.
I like looking under the engine compartment. I like looking for leaks. That's the telltale sign of, has it been taken care of or has it been abused?
What year is this thing?
2008.
Nice.
There hasn't been any unnecessary mods. Mods that only cost a few $100s and only give you maybe a couple of horsepower. Take away the reliability.
It's a good car, it's a solid car to start with, and I like that it's stock. When you're dealing with cars that have been modified by somebody else, you don't know what they did. You don't know if they did it correctly or incorrectly. So having like a blank canvas, as you call it, is good to start with.
No oil leaks up here.
And I'm worried about leaves on the grill. Yeah, oil is good. I think they did a recent service on it.
That needs change.
This makes it easy. All the mechanicals are here already. We don't have to do anything mechanically here, which means we can put all our resources into the big picture.
The paint, the interior, and then if we want to hop it up, a little bit of performance.
So later on when somebody really loves it and they put some real horsepower in it, they'll handle it. I mean, everything's there. Everything's there.
I like it.
Don't have to mess with it.
Right? We'll work on drivetrain, work on cornering performance, and the way it looks. 2 tire irons.
When one doesn't work, you can just use 2.
Can you check to see if the spare's even in? There it is.
Enough for rock and roll.
Yep. If you need it. No body damage back here.
Yeah, you can see nothing's ever been crunched or worked on or welded or
Awesome.
fixed. I did notice these have been pulled back, so I don't know if somebody's been working on the chassis on the struts or not. It's got a squeak on the back. So I don't know if it's strut mounts, I don't know if it's sway bar bushings, control arm bushings, but
Okay. You said
whatever it is, we'll find it.
All right, keys, please.
I really like driving it because then you get the feel of how it also is doing.
What usually makes a car drive the best is surprising that most people will think that it's the way that the engine runs or the way that the engine sounds when you push the gas and it goes. But a lot more of it is the intangibles, the security feeling that when something is tight and it doesn't jerk out of your hand and it doesn't wander around in a lane, and when you push the brakes to come to a stop, it comes firmly to a straight line stop. Those are the things that I like to do because they're imperceptible sometimes, but you can get into a vehicle that's only running on half the cylinders and sounds terrible. But as long as the brakes and the suspension are nice and tight and work properly, you'll at least feel secure in that vehicle.
On the initial test drive, steering's kind of loose. Almost I feel like I hear a wheel bearing, so I want to look at the wheel bearings, and it could be front or rear. I can't pinpoint it right now. It needs some more bottom end, so I got to look at what gear ratio it is. Maybe we could change our gear ratio, help it get out of the hole a little bit better. The shifter is kind of loose on this Mustang. Also, we heard a squeak. It's coming from the rear.
This squeak back here is the thing that made me not even want to drive this. I won't drive it until this squeak is gone. Just the lightest on throttle, off throttle, small bumps, whatever, it's just squeaking. It's not loose, it's just irritating.
The way that the pitch of the squeak is, it almost seems like metal on metal, but really faint contact. When we get it up in the air, we'll look underneath. So that's what I'll be looking. Control arm bushings, shock bushings, all that stuff like that.
All right. Well, it looks like we have a couple holes in the carpet over here, driver's side.
No floor mats.
Yeah, no floor mat. That would do it.
It's cheap.
What's that?
It's a lot of work, but it's cheap. Just doing the carpet kit.
I don't know.
Why don't we just throw a couple floor mats over the top of it? You never see it.
For not too much more, we can just replace the entire carpet ourselves
That's true.
and get a whole kit for less than $200.
Just a lot of work.
It's time consuming. There's no corners that you can cut on it. If something has to be removed, you have to remove it.
It's not that difficult to do a carpet kit. It's just more time consuming, but I'm gonna let him do that.
Center console out, seats out, a couple of the trim pieces. I still got to work on that shifter anyways.
This shifter?
Yep. There you go. What do you call it? The bloomin' onion?
The bloomin' onion shifter?
Yep.
The pieces falling off?
Once we get past the obvious visuals, I want to get down in there and I want it to make it feel and drive better. I want to make it feel and drive as good as, if not much better than a factory setup would be.
I think what will get the most notice is the lowering because it makes the stance look a lot better. Right now you've got some nice low profile tires, big wheel gaps, so it looks like it's on stilts.
I'm not dreading doing any of the work on this. There are some things that I don't work on, even on an annual basis, but I do like to experience those things as often as possible. There's nothing on that one that I'm dreading at all. I'm actually looking forward to, because every single thing that we'll find and that we'll map out and that we'll replace or update on that is going to make the vehicle drive and look better and ultimately more valuable.
We know what we do. We've been doing it forever, so it should just be like second nature.
I've kept the budget collective. I think $3,000 in and out.
Inside,
I don't see it being more than $1,000. Probably less than $500.
carpet kit, shifter, door panels, little filler pieces and stuff like that. You're right, probably $500. Yeah, that's affordable.
This stock 08 S197 was purchased as is for around $12,000. Tom and Eric are willing to invest an additional $3,000 into this pre-owned and are expecting the materials for interior aesthetics, exterior repair, and mechanical tune-up to run less than $1,000 each. Any surplus budget after repairs will be the allowance for upgrades and performance modifications, so they're certainly motivated to keep costs down, but not at the expense of comfort and reliability. Remember when courage was looking under the bed? Now it's looking under the pre-owned seats. Carpet replacement, setting door panels, and removing years of gunk and grime. Next time, as Tom and Eric tackle the cabin interior repairs. Does following our mini-series modifying and comparing the last 3 generations of the GT interest you? Subscribe and click that bell to get reminders for our Thursday bi-weekly episode releases. Did you see something you liked or learn something new? Press that thumbs up to tell us we're doing a great job.